YouTube here to do another movie review, this time of Rogue One, a Star Wars story. This time on my phone because my camera's out of battery and there's a lot going on in there, and I'm trying to go to a quiet room and I'm not going to plug in a camera anywhere. So here I am. Rogue One, a Star Wars story. Here's how I'm going to do it. First and foremost, what I thought, and then close up with how everything ties in and what that means for the future of the Star Wars universe. So straight up front, it's very noticeable that this is a very different Star Wars movie, and it's a fresh movie that's fully encapsulated in itself. It does tie in, but it's not like The Force Awakens was, where you half the time were spent tying into other elements of the different movies in the trilogies. And it was refreshing, and it felt much more cohesive than Episode 7 did. And definitely way, 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 way better than the prequels, even if this was also a prequel. But up front, I will say it felt like a real prequel, and the others just felt like a completely separate movie. Just spoiler alert, but this movie ends right at the beginning of A New Hope, and it's perfect. Exactly how it ends is exactly how New Hope begins, and that's awesome. So how did I feel? How did I really feel? Honestly, at the beginning, I was kind of like, okay, we don't need this. We don't need these parts. I love Forest Whitaker's character, but some of the things he did and some of the decisions he made and some of the things he had kind of jumbled the story. It's like, okay, these are elements in the story that don't need to be here. I get that you're expressing that Jyn Erso and all these other rebel fighters are complicated characters with complicated pasts because of the Empire, but the way Forest Whitaker was just like, it was just an obstacle for Jyn Erso and the rebellion to get to the pilot. It just didn't make sense, and it was just like, let's just forget about this obstacle to get to our goal, because it didn't feel like a story element. It felt more like someone had writer's block with Forest Whitaker, and there's things probably on the cutting room floor that explain it better. I keep telling people in Hollywood, I don't mind a longer movie. If you're gonna take things out of the movie, it's gonna make things not take away from the sensibility of the movie. It's not worth it. And that's what I felt like. It's jumbled in the beginning. It's kind of confusing, but other than that, the movie's excellent. It's a Star Wars movie, so obviously, sound design and music design, the score and the mixing, incredible. The visual effects, amazing. They did a lot more macro photography, and it looked amazing. I can tell it's what it is, but I don't mind. I love it. It just felt refreshing. Felt like I was watching film when I was watching this movie, and it felt great. They're pulling themselves further away from the prequels and doing more of how Lucas did things in the 70s and 80s, and that was pretty awesome. And more things I liked. They didn't. Spoiler alert: they're not afraid to kill characters. Not afraid to kill characters, and that's excellent. I felt like in Episode 7, they're just like, we're brave. Watch us kill Harrison Ford. Watch us kill Han Solo. Wow, look what we just did. And we're just like, dude, Han Solo is redundant to Star Wars now because he's played his part. Whereas in this movie, honest spoiler alert, everyone basically dies. And it's okay, because they weren't going to survive. If you know what's going to happen between the second and third act, if you know what they're going into the third act, you know they're not gonna win. In fact, I prefer them not to win. I mean, they won because they got the message out, but it's a better movie if everyone dies in the end, except whoever got the message to Leia. So favorite part. My two favorite characters are Donnie Yen and Darth Vader because I'm a nerd and I like uh, the concept of Donnie Yen being a guardian of a temple of the Jedi Order, and just the origin of. Uh, and it was, I think it was the best tie-in of the movie. Just like, this is the Force, these are the people who wield it, but they're not Jedi because only special people could be Jedi. That was a nice tie-in. And Darth Vader, of course, because in my opinion, that was the coolest scene in the movie. If you haven't seen it, Darth Vader's a couple of great scenes, but gotta stick around for that third act. It's gonna make the price of admission worth it for you. If I were to grade it, I would give it a B plus, and really only knock it about 10 points because of Forrest Whitaker's scenes that didn't need to be there. If you saw the movie, you know what I'm talking about. Um, yeah, and looking back, I would probably say The Force Awakens would be like a C plus, so much better than The Force Awakens. So, close in the last few furlongs in this race here, talk about what this means for the future of Star Wars. And Gareth Edwards did an amazing thing. He changed the formula for a Star Wars movie, basically making it self-encapsulated. It kind of took a play from Marvel, where it's its own movie, and it ties in. And I think every single movie, including the episodes, moving forward, will be like that. And I think episode 8 is going to be a little darker, just like what we saw in the Force Awakens, the Force Awakens, and like we saw in Empire Strikes Back. And it's preferred. Great. Let's not be Disney films anymore, even if we're at Disney. And I think now that we're going to see it darker, we're going to see more cutback on the budget, because unfortunately, The Force Awakens is doing half as well as Episode 7 did, beneath Disney's expectations, even if they're definitely going to make at least $1 billion with this movie. So yeah, we'll see what happens. That's my predictions for the future.